Can I tell you to break clean, watch yourself at all times, shake hands now, may the best man win. Good luck to both of you.
Round one, there's the bell. Speed called by very expert, the Underground Heavyweight Champion.
Welcome, fight fans, to Black Monday, Black Wednesday. After a depressing, sad, embarrassing weekend of boxing, we got to get into it. I got a kvetch.
We got to go back. It's good. It's good therapy to go back and talk about the trauma that you've experienced to help heal.
Is that what therapists say?
I don't know.
I thought you're supposed to like move on and bury your feelings deep inside and never think about them again.
Oh, you've never been to a therapist, have you?
I apparently got bad advice. It's working out for me. I've got ulcers, cancer, all come riddled. But
you sleeping all right, man?
Sleeping great, sleeping wonderful.
Sleeping 2 hours a night.
Yeah, I had to pawn my pillow after this weekend. Just terrible picks, terrible fights, a lot of losers.
A lot of unexpected nothing. Like not the unexpected excitement that we would hope for in boxing.
Not so much, but let's get into it. Let's break it down, and you know, just let me vent it out.
Yeah, tell me about it, man. Tell me all about it, because my Friday night, honestly, was very uneventful for watching fights. I was at a gym coaching some sparring. We got there a little early. The guys were trying to do a little watch party, and I had missed the Lopez fight and knew the results already. By the time I pulled up, it was the beginning of the Haney fight, and it was everybody standing around at this gym just was like, there's nothing to watch. So we all just kind of wandered away and went over and started training and working out, and then forgot about the fights. And then I heard all the ruckus when Garcia went down.
Of course.
And then everybody ran over, looked at the TV for a couple minutes, and then realized that it wasn't going to be the end. And as they kept cruising along, we just wandered back over to the ring and went back to work. So
yeah, probably whatever was happening in that ring was more interesting than what was happening on TV.
Yeah, there was some damn good sparring that night. And then after that, because all the results were in, and the biggest take was there were shit fights. So I haven't sat down and watched them in their entirety, and I never will.
You don't need to. I'll tell you, just like life, that card, the disappointment started early for me. Because I was in Utah for work, and I was like, should I fly home this weekend? I gotta fly home. It's like back-to-back triple header boxing. Like I'm gonna get the grill going and have people over and the whole thing. And I'm on the flight flying home, and I go to DraftKings to like put my bet in. Also forgetting that you can't fucking use DraftKings in Utah because it's a morally superior state. And I see the fight is live, and I was like, what? How's the fight live? It's like 2:30 p.m. And it's like, oh yeah, because they just fucking didn't tell anybody what time the fights were starting and decided to start them at 6 p.m. Eastern time, which is insane. Like, yo, people are at work.
Yeah,
in the West Coast, like
it's like, and even over there, it's like rush hour traffic in New York.
It's nuts. And like when you're in New York, man, you're used, like things are gonna start at 6 p.m. earliest on the West Coast, which is 9 p.m. New York. And they're used to that. That's why they stay up crazy. Like I lived in New York, and like people used to go out to eat dinner at like 10 p.m. It's different.
Sir. That's
it's
bedtime.
But they live, later. They're in the, you know.
It's different life.
Yeah.
Big city life.
Yeah, it's wild. But, so I just don't even understand like what they were thinking. But I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to watch the whole thing on tape delay because I want to, I'll just pretend it's live, right? So I landed. I was able to get some bets in, whatever. Went home, put it on replay, and immediately was like, I mean, what did you think of the vibe, like the element of it being, because it was supposed to be like center of Times Square, we're taking over Times Square, and it was more like we found an empty parking spot and like built a little ring here and no one can see it.
Yeah, we had speculated so much on what the conditions of the actual fight would be, and we were making jokes about it and stuff. About what you would be able to see, how would you be able to watch? Oh, it's for the general public and just walk up and watch. And they were like, well, no, it's going to be a private event. It ended up being kind of a mixed up version of both of those things. And I took a screenshot of it, but I forgot to send it to you. But now it's all out on Instagram now. Maybe you wouldn't have wanted to see it anyways because you were waiting for the spoilers.
I was ignoring all the texts.
Yeah, you always ignore my texts. I know. But I seen it was somebody, friend of mine on Instagram who was there, and they were like, what the fuck is this shit? And it was like that red wall, the 12-foot chain link fence with the red wrap around it, and they're like, we can't see anything. Like,
what was the point?
You're right.
It
could have been
a private
event.
A
totally random parking lot anywhere in the world.
Yeah, it's just like a weird thing to do. I just didn't understand the like, and like if you've been to Times Square, there's this like section that's almost like a big stadium, basically. It's just built into it. It's like a big plaza where all the like performers, like street performers are, and then like there's these seats that like go up. And I figured, oh, they'll build a ring like at the foot of that, and then make like another one of those across from it, and like whatever, people will be camped out at 5 a.m. waiting to, but it's like, no, it's just a little private viewing party. I don't get it. The only thing I liked was having the fighters roll up in different cars. I was okay with that.
You know, that was terrible. When I got home from sparring, my wife, she had been watching the fights, and she said it felt like a COVID show. There was no energy, and it was quiet and awkward. No crowd energy, and the fighters all looked affected by it. And I thought about that as a coach, and taking a fighter from. You got to go from a hotel to get into a car, to drive down the street, to get out of the car, to walk into this weird, fenced off chunk of ground here in the middle of all. It doesn't make any sense. And it's, what other sport do they take these fighters or these athletes out of their natural environment where they've been growing towards having these bigger and bigger and bigger crowds, and they've been kind of rising to that more and more, and then feeding off of that and playing to that and performing to that. Imagine taking, you start in football and you Pop Warner or whatever, and it's just your parents. Then you go up to high school and there's a few hundred people. Then college, there's thousands of people. Then big time college, there's maybe 100,000 people. And then you get to the NFL and you never play a game that isn't like in a fucking stadium full of people roaring and cheering. And then take those guys and go make them play like somewhere where there's fucking 100 people.
Yeah,
they're gonna be like, "Are we even playing?
No,
is this really a game?"
COVID's a good analogy because that's exactly what it was. And I mean, Ryan Garcia at the post fight actually said as much and was basically like, "Yeah, it didn't feel like a real fight." And it's like, yeah, I could kind of see that, like tripping yourself out, and you're like, "Wait, is this happening? Am I really doing this?"
Yeah, and him being kind of known for having anxiety issues and stuff, it looked like he was having a hard time staying in the moment and kind of staying present. I think he was having a hard time mentally with that situation of all of the fighters the most from the clips I've seen. Honestly, like I said, I ain't gonna lie, I did not watch every second of this event, and I don't think I ever will.
Well, I'll tell you who the absolute biggest winner on this card was after the FDNY police officer did their little amateur fight. Lavale Whittington fights Tsutsumi, who's like the up-and-coming featherweight Japanese prospect, right? And they were just hyping the shit out of this guy. They're just like, oh, this is his pro debut. He's never had a professional fight. He's already like an ambassador, quote unquote, of Ring Magazine. He's going to be incredible, all this stuff. And I'm like, damn, this guy hasn't even fought one fight yet. Can you chill out with like all this stuff? And, this guy's just here to be a punching bag and get stopped in the first round. Nope. He looked great in there, made it all the way through the fight, gave him a ton of trouble. Dude seemed indestructible. I was like, who's this guy? Fuck,
yeah.
Fuck
they probably didn't say a word about him, though, huh?
Yeah. They kind of had to. That's like, when you're really doing well is when you force the commentators to be like, oh, this guy's actually putting up kind of a fight.
I know. We need to get like, how you put that sign on your house, like no solicitors, like we need that for these fucking commentators. Be like, quit trying to sell me something, bro. Just let me watch the boxing match.
Or just call the fight that you're
watching. Call the fight. Tell me, he throws a hook, he throws a jab.
Yeah.
Oh, he's made a great adjustment here to go to the body. But no, he's talking all about their personal lives and their stories about when they were fighters and how they feel about this and making up narratives that don't matter.
Get a podcast already.
This is the worst.
Yeah. He was the best winner on the card. We get into the main event, or the three main events. Teofimo Lopez, Arnold Barboza. It sounds like you didn't even catch this one before you pulled up to the gym. I thought Barboza was going to do enough to get this done. I thought he would find a way to fight off the back foot and make Teo come to him, which he's not good at. And Barboza's kind of has that way of just winning every round, just enough. And I thought he'd kind of lull Teo into that, but he didn't. Teo lulled him into his fight. He was coming forward the whole time, trying to press the action and make the fight. He let Teo get right in his little pocket, right in his rhythm. Teo, such a frustrating fighter to think about betting on because you just have no idea what level the guy's going to show up at. But I think at this point we can say he's always just going to be 5% better than his opponent. And that's what he looked like. He got in his little rhythm. He was dancing and shuffling and shaking there. People thought I've read everybody saying he blew out Barboza, and that's not how I saw the fight. I think he won an actually like kind of decently close fight because there was not a lot of action. But it was entertaining to see him salsa dancing and shuffling around in there, and sad for Barboza. I know he's got some genuine ill will towards the man. And
worth a rewatch?
I don't think it's worth a rewatch. I mean, it wasn't an exciting fight other than Teo being defensive. It's not like Teo gets his offense off. Like with Josh Taylor, he was like okay, this goes a couple more rounds. Maybe he's going to stop this guy. He's slipping and ripping. That's not how this fight felt. It felt like he was just slicker defensively. And the whole time I was yelling at Barboza, like, dude, change the fight. Make him come to you. Do your fight, you know?
Yeah, well, the whole weekend didn't have a lot of adjustments.
No.
So
then we get into the second main event. Wow. Did you catch this fight? Did you catch enough of it? If you saw one round, you saw the whole fight.
that's how it was. Yes, I probably saw a collective total of like 4 rounds of this, and then I'm in a gym, and it's a gathering of friends and old coaches, and we got so we just get to start talking. Next thing you know, we're not watching the fight, we're catching up on so and so, or talking about whatever happened the other day, And then we're like, oh yeah, I got fighters here. They're being responsible. They're not watching the fights at all. They're over here warming up for sparring. So I go over there and check on them. Say, hey man, you getting ready, whatever. Because they had to wait around for about an hour before we actually sparred. I didn't want them watching TV. So, I wanted to set a good example for them too. And it made it easy. Walk away from that. It was very walk away from, just like there's nothing happening here.
So you got Devin Haney just absolutely running, peppering a few shots here and there, but I mean, really on the bike, on the perimeter of the ring, just nonstop. And Barboza just like cannot figure out how to walk this guy down. Can't cut the ring off at all. Missing winging shots.
Ramirez,
excuse me. Just no ability to land any punches, and then it just repeated round after round after round. I mean, easy UD for Haney and an easy pick for us. That's what we bet going into it. But man, I didn't think it would be in that fashion, and it set a record for the fewest punches landed in any 12-round fight. 110 total landed punches the entire 12 rounds. Brutal.
That's brutal. There was quite a few records set this weekend. I think at least 3. So that's one of them. We'll find out the others when we get there.
Yeah. That was tough. Tough to watch. At least we made some money. Thank God. The only saving grace. And then we get into the main event. Again, I did appreciate the Batmobile ride, and I thought that was okay. Didn't bother me. No? You're shaking your head. No. It's a Batmobile, man. Come on.
It's all right. I can get down with the Batmobile.
All right, what car are you picking to pull up in the ring in?
Of any car?
Yeah, you get to pick. You're going to the ring.
Because I'm thinking about Batmobiles and shit. No.
Yeah, he took the Batmobile. That's taken. You just hated on the Batmobile.
No. I'm saying it's got to be comparable to the Batmobile.
Yeah, try to outdo it.
Man, like, what's that? What about like the bus from the Scooby-Doo gang?
Okay, not super intimidating, cool. But all right.
Yeah. This just sets the tone.
Like the Shaggy van from Dumb and Dumber.
That would be a good one.
I could see you in that. I'd ride up in a little tricycle like the dude from Saw.
The tiniest little tricycle?
Tiny little tricycle, solo, no one around me. Just
That'd be intimidating.
That's what I would do.
That'd be extremely intimidating.
I'm a creepy motherfucker. They get in there. Decent first couple rounds. Romero lands that hook over the top. Boom. Heavy. He looked big at 147. Like he used the weight better than Ryan, I think, did. Ryan goes down. Clearly isn't hurt. Gets back up. Just boxes a timid fight. And Romero he just did enough to win the rounds. Showed his boxing skill. I will say, I think people have slept on Rolly. When Rolly fought Tank, I said, I think Rolly's a much better boxer than people give him credit for. Like, he's sound. He looks like he's thinking about what he's doing in there, so he's not super, like, fluid with it. But he outboxed Tank for, like, 5-6 rounds until he got completely slept. And that's what, and then obviously his career kind of got derailed seeing that. He looked a lot more human. And so you got to figure, as we did, Garcia was going to put him down at some point with that hook because Rolly's just not fundamentally sound enough. But Brian just never turned on. He never activated as a boxer the entire time. He kind of just stood there. It was rough.
Yeah. That's tough to see, man. Like, I'm not a huge Garcia fan. He's done a lot of things that make you not want to like him outside the ring. But inside the ring, I want to see a guy do okay. I want to see the guy succeed, or at least put on a competitive boxing match for us to watch. But he wasn't able to do that at all. And Rolly, he caught him with that left hook, or 2 left hooks rather. But the first one landed, and then the second one knocked him off balance. So he was never really like out on his feet.
Yeah,
he never really like glazed over on his way down. He was okay, but he was certainly shook and gun shy from there on out. And there goes my prediction. I predicted the A-side sweep. It didn't happen, and this upset of the weekend came completely unexpected, which I guess is what it really is. If it's going to be an upset, you don't expect it.
Yeah, it's just a terrible upset, right? Like, what you want to see for an upset is Garcia pushes the action a little too much and and Romero just like catches him and he gets knocked out. And you're like, oh shit, it was an incredible fight and totally unexpected. But like this was like one dude just didn't show up, just like fell asleep. And we talk about Haney Ramirez setting the record for the fewest punches landed in any fight. This one came in number 3.
Damn.
So right now, 2 of the top 3 effectively most fucking boring fights were on the same card.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, Rolly, he's a puncher, right? I don't really see him as a boxer. He's just a puncher. And you can see that even when he talks about his own career, saying his dad took him into the gym when he was young, and I knocked this guy out and I knocked that guy. I was like, if somebody came to my gym and started trying to knock my fighters out in sparring, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
This is a training facility, man. We get paid for that kind of work.
See,
But
boxers
this guy,
like Rolly and I, we know that we don't have to train if we knock it.
Oh, you guys know. You guys know about
we
this.
We know about that. That's why I never condition, because it's not going more than 45 seconds.
Yeah,
why do
for
I need
real.
conditioning?
I mean, I think this was literally the Rolly Romero game plan until about 3 years ago.
Who just won?
You know?
Who just won?
Yeah.
Thank
I
you
guess.
very much.
Yeah. Well,
and Rolly.
And you got a belt. He's a 3-division world champion now off this.
But nah, this is not a real. So is he going to fight Boots now?
No, man.
It's got to be Rolly Boots. Let's go.
No.
Let's do it. That's
No.
such an absurd
No,
fight.
I'm just saying no over and over again. That's just ridiculous. But dude, altogether that event completely unwatchable. Imagine how much money they sunk into that to get those permits and make that thing happen, and nobody had a good report on it. You know, I heard on Dan Rayfield's podcast this morning that the media wasn't even in attendance. They put them in the hotel down the street, watching on the live stream.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like, what is this? But yet they had like a look-alike of Tupac and Spider-Man and fucking all these people to do because they don't have ring girls, so they gotta have these people parade around with the numbers. I'm like, okay, so Dan Rayfield can't watch it, but Tupac can.
Yeah, it was fucking bizarre, dude.
So go ahead.
Well, I was gonna segue to the next night. What do you got?
Well, I was just gonna ask who the biggest loser was. Was it Brian Garcia, who was weeping in the Batmobile afterwards? I don't know if you saw that. It was fucking heartbreaking. Anytime I see a boxer just weep after a fight, it's rough for me, you know?
Yeah, I've seen that before a couple times in person, a couple times on TV. It's heartbreaking, even if the guy's kind of an asshole. He's done a lot of things to make you not like him and said a lot of uncool things. You know, as a fighter, as a father, as a coach, my heart goes out to a guy in that situation. And those look like tears of frustration. Like, man, what the fuck just happened?
What did I do?
What didn't I do? Why didn't I do it? And that's, you know, so it clearly was a mental thing. His coach, you know, Derek James was telling him what to do and almost begging him to do it. And it's like, I've seen guys in sparring, you know, luckily, you know, we train real hard and we got some good boxers in our program. And most importantly, mentality. I never doubt their mentality when I put them in the ring. You know, because nothing's worse than, you know what they need to do. They know what they need to do, but they can't do it. They just can't do it.
Yeah.
We see that in sparring sometimes when we work through it. But to have that happen on the big stage like that, it's utterly fucking terrifying. As a coach, you know,
so
terrible.
who's the biggest loser? Was it him? Was it Ramirez? Was it Barboza? Was it Turkey? Was it me in my DraftKings account?
Boxing in general lost majorly. The fighters, all of them, I think. Damn, I'd have to say Garcia is the biggest loser because nobody liked Haney in the beginning anyways. So what did he lose? You know, he won a fight. He didn't gain any fans. He didn't gain any highlights.
Yep.
He you know, his haters going to keep hating, and you know, it sets up their rematch perfectly.
Ugh. No one wants to see that now. They look like they destroyed each other.
They're made for each other.
Like mentally, they just like broke each other, and that's it. And they're broken in such like perfect like opposites. Like Haney's just terrified to take a punch, and he's just like, I'm just never gonna get hit again.
Well, that's perfect because Garcia's afraid to throw one,
and he's afraid to throw one. So it's like, great,
good. They'll just they could set a new record.
They could set a new record if you put them in the ring right now with those two characters. Haney goes 200 rounds and doesn't lose a round. There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, boring. All right, we get to the next night. More heartbreak, more devastation.
You know what I was impressed about was the segue here is because, like, these dudes must have got on a high-speed jet. Turkey, Bud Crawford.
Yeah.
A couple of the commentators, I think Mike Coppinger was with them. They all just jumped on that Turkey train and fucking flew across the world and just walked into another boxing venue.
Yeah, bright and early. Ready to go.
Impressive, man.
I mean, the time shift is nuts, too, because they must have gotten in they got in at night. I don't know because
You go back in time when you go over there.
Right, you go back in time. I always forget that.
Yeah, so they would have left immediately after the American fights. Maybe that's why they did them so
they
early.
don't go back in time. It's later. It's like 10 hours later there. So you lose like 10 hours when you go.
So that's why they did the fight so early on Friday, so Turkey could make it on time to the Canelo fight.
That could be it, because Canelo walked in the ring at, I believe, 7 a.m. Saudi time, which is weird as hell.
Well, they wanted it to be in the evening.
Of
over
course.
here.
No, I get why they did it, but it's just like, I was picturing like your Canelo, you went out there 3 weeks early to, get acclimated and not be jet lagged in this, but then you got to start getting ready to fight in the morning.
Yeah.
So you must be training at like 6 a.m.
I wonder if he just slept all day long.
Yeah.
Just never acclimated to the local time.
I'd be fucked up, man. I can't. If I go to like London even, I'm fucked up.
London fucked me up when I went there. I got there, like you told me, I think you told me, like, don't go to sleep, man. And I did. And I crashed out at like 4:30 in the evening.
No.
And then woke up at 2 in the morning and was just awake for the whole next day.
That's
for like
terrible.
24 hours, dude, before I could go back to sleep again. It was crazy. Felt like I was in a dream. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
I used to go to India every year, and I would just stay up all night, and then I would take like a 8 or 9 a.m. flight, and I would just crash out. Like take Tylenol PM, and I got my whole thing, like my blackout like sleep mask and my noise canceling headphones, and then my hood over it, and then the neck pillow, and I just shut down as a human. And then land, and I'm like, okay, I'm all right. I'm acclimated. But you got to like jump your time zone off to what, you got to rock your rhythm out to get to it. They should hire me. I could be like time zone expert for fighters, for athletes as they travel.
Yeah. All right, let's make that happen.
I'll coordinate it. I could do it. Well, we jump over there. Again, more heartbreak for me. First fight, Martin Bakole, FA Ajagba. I fucking called this all day. Ajagba was this dude is not the boogeyman. He was going to take care of business. Did you see this fight? Did you watch this? Can you
I did watch
with me?
this one, yeah.
Validate me here. Ajagba easily won this fight by 4 rounds. 3 if you're being generous. He gets the majority draw. Absolutely insane to me. I was shocked. Couldn't believe it.
I saw him winning it too. I didn't score it, so I can't say how many rounds, but I was scoring kind of by feel and just by impression, and just boxing, just watching these guys box. I said, okay, FA's edging this. He's playing it safe. I thought he was playing it safe. He didn't take a lot of huge risks.
He was boxing, but he was also standing there and trading with them. He was sitting on the ropes, rope-a-dope, and then would come back with hard shots.
I mean, I was yelling him, get off the ropes, man.
Of course, but it's like, what does a guy have to do? He's got to just stand in the pocket and trade with him the entire time to win the round. There were entire rounds where Bakole landed effectively no punches, and he was getting worked on the outside with the jab, with the rear hand, uppercuts. Like he was landing good hard shots on him. I'm surprised he didn't stop Bakole. This is bullshit.
Well, I usually try to predict a draw, and that was not the one I saw as a draw. I was predicting FA would win that one, and I think you're right. He probably edged it, but the train keeps rolling, man. That's boxing. That's what they say.
It's crap. At least they give you your money back. I think if it's a draw, you lose your money. Like if you bet one guy's going to win, it's a draw. That's it. You lost. But if it's a majority draw for your guy, it's called a push, and they give you your money back. Which I don't understand where in the fine print that's written. But that should have been a victory. I'm going to count that as a dub. Then Jaime Munguia gets his revenge, ? Against Saras. What do you think?
I don't know, man. Saras looked great in there.
That's what I thought.
He looked fantastic. I said, these guys, I tell the wife, and at this point I'm starting to make some dinner, because, Yeah, it was probably during the Bakole fight I started prepping, because I could see the TV from my cutting board,
Right.
And during this fight, I actually stopped to watch a little bit, and dinner had to get put on hold. And I was like, you know what? These guys, they're pretty evenly matched. I thought they were pretty evenly matched in there as far as if you didn't know either the guy and you just turn on the TV, you'd be like, yeah, it's a fair fight.
Yeah.
Pretty good scrap.
I'll say in the 6th round, I put $50 on Saras.
Thought he could swing it around, huh?
He was up by a round, and I was like, he doesn't look like he's going to get stopped. So as long as he doesn't gas out, he can keep doing this. I could kind of see him winning some maybe semi-even controversial decision, and it was like plus 1,800 money line or something insane like that. I was like, fuck it. But then he just really faded the last half of the fight, and Munguia just took all the rounds. Munguia looked great, man. His new trainer, he's way more defensively sound. Like he looks like someone who could actually reinvent their career. Not that he's coming back from a loss, like he needs to reinvent himself, but he was always a guy that's just going to took too much damage, and like, where's the longevity in it? And he looks like someone who maybe could go in and box with a plant, you know?
Yeah, he made some good adjustments, and you could see his experience as a 12-round fighter paid off in this fight and made the difference there towards the back half of the fight. Ross had never fought at the distance before. He was never ever supposed to be on this stage, so he won a lot. And I'm sure he's a hometown hero now, having these 2 fights. He's he should be set up for life as a boxing trainer or whatever, or gym member, gym owner, whatever he's doing. Hopefully he can take something away from this. I doubt we'll see him up on the world stage again, but it certainly wasn't the dominant revenge that people wanted Munguia to get back in the fight of the year kind of contention that he's been in recently. And this whole 168-pound division is just kind of full of these kind of guys. They got to fight it out to see who's the best of the rest.
Yeah,
he's got to get in there with Plant. He's got to get in there with Berlengo, which are 2 names he called out in his post fight. And those fights I'd like to see, because I think we're not going to predict him right now, but the way he was boxing in there, I don't see him beating Plant.
Yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, it's offense, defense, right? And Munguia just showed that he's got better defense. So that makes the offensive fighter that much more dangerous, because I don't think Plant is going to suddenly develop another gear with some crazy knockout power.
No, but I think he's better defensively naturally and long term.
There's no comparison between the two. But I'm saying you got one guy who's, let's say, an 8 on off. Munguia's an 8 on offense and like a 0 on defense, right? And Plant's like a 10 on defense and like a 6 on offense, or a 4 on offense. But now the dude who was 10 offense, 0 defense, now he's like 10-5 or 10-6. So his cumulative score as a boxer, like, maybe it'll help him edge it out. Now he's a little more balanced of a fighter. But I don't know. I'd still favor Plant in that.
Yeah, I think stylistically, yeah. But we'll see how that shakes out. I think Munguia, he got these 2 Saras fights pretty quick back to back, so he'll probably take a little time off, take a little step away, and man, I don't know if they're gonna have any more Mexican fights over there in Saudi. That crowd was terrible.
The crowd was rough. There were some Mexican fans though. You heard them chanting.
You could hear the 20 people.
Yeah, I was like,
maybe 100 people.
Who are these? Oh, I was like gonna say 15. Who are these 15 people that are yelling?
Yeah, I know, right? It's like an expensive trip. It's a long way to go. So they were real diehards over there. But yeah, it was not your typical vibes for a Cinco de Mayo weekend fight.
Yeah,
and it felt real off.
Oh, it was terrible.
As those Saudi cards usually do. You're like, oh, these guys don't really celebrate the sport as it's happening.
I don't get how it's not sold out. Like, are they trying to make money? Are the tickets expensive? Like, just open the gates and let people in. What's the? I don't understand the plan. I don't get the mentality. It's like just like a winner's circle, like a boys club, members only. You got to like know somebody to get in, and there's just like 50 people. I mean, it's pretty crazy. It's like if I was rich enough to have, Sarasa Munguia fight in my backyard, I wouldn't do it. It'd be awkward as hell. I'm like, yeah, me and Couch are going to sit here and drink some cold ones.
Yeah.
Here's the fight.
Well, all this money is coming from the coffers of the Saudi Riyadh season's tourism industry. They're trying to get tourists interested in traveling there.
So you got to do the fights there to show, look how accessible it is.
Yeah, but then like that doesn't look like a good time.
Yeah.
It looks very awkward. Like you said, like a private boys club. I don't think you're allowed to drink there in public.
No.
So like no Modelos at a Canelo fight. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
It's interesting. It's interesting. Next fight up, did you catch this one? Badu Jack gets the decision over Mikalian.
Mikalian. That was a close fight. It could have been another draw. I said, man, this is the night of the draws for sure. And Jack, for being 41 years old, is holding it down.
Hey, look good.
Mikalian was working, but he wasn't working with any any real grit.
Yeah.
He was just kind of flicking. He'd throw a lot of quick combinations and dance away and stuff, but there was no real sitting down on his punches, no conviction in his attack. And I think that's what cost him the fight.
I think you're right. He's a good boxer, and like you could tell he understands what the judges are seeing. Like anytime something lands on him, he immediately comes back with like a 3 or 4 punch combination to just be like, no. Like the round is still in my favor.
But those punches wouldn't have nothing on him.
No, I mean, I wasn't mad at all with the decision. I thought, if anything, this should have been the majority draw, and FA should have squeaked it out at the same mark. Like, I didn't understand the trajectory of the fights. Like, wait, that's a draw, but this one isn't a draw? Because this was a way closer fight. But again, not scoring every round. I thought Badu took it, and he just did enough, especially down the stretch. Last 4 rounds came on more strong, which credit to his conditioning.
Yeah, no doubt, especially as a guy over the hill. Really appreciate him and the work he's done. He's a 3-4 division champion.
Yeah.
He's done a lot in his career, and
he
keeps
lives
on
in
trucking
Saudi,
along.
I believe. He lives there.
Oh, no wonder he's getting the fights then.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, smart man. Smart man. All right, then we get on to the main event. Canelo Alvarez, 2-time now undisputed super middleweight champion. He pulls back his IBF world title from William Skull. I'm going to start this off right here for the sake of this conversation. Skull won the fight.
Yeah, well, he won the lottery.
He won the fight.
He won the lottery is what he did.
He won the fight.
Yeah.
Give him all the belts.
Give him the belts.
I think he won the fight.
As I saw it, I didn't see a fight. There was no fighting.
Thank you. It was awful. It's probably the worst fight I've ever seen in my life. I think I can say that.
This is why you sometimes we can't even say the word fight. You say a boxing match.
Boxing match.
It's a boxing match because there was no fight here.
But he won. Okay, Canelo. We talk about records. This is the 3rd record that I wrote down. This is a historic weekend. Really exciting stuff.
Record-breaking, earth-shattering numbers.
Fewest punches ever thrown in a 12-round fight. Canelo Alvarez in this fight. How did this guy win the fight? He landed less jabs, less power punches, less punches to the head. Why did he win the fight?
The punch stats had them even on connects.
No, I know. I think he connected with 3 more punches.
Okay, so yeah, but overall, his
It's
were all
close.
to the body.
Yeah.
And Homeboy's was all to the head with like those little feather jabs.
Yeah. So why did Canelo win the fight? He didn't look better in there to me. He's just walking around, winging huge shots, missing big.
Yeah. So there was moments where he could have done more and he didn't. There was moments where Skull would stop moving and posture and flex and drop his hands and feint a little. And I said, okay, Canelo's supposed to go to work now. But he looked like he didn't want to get counterpunched, looked annoyed. He looked like he wanted to do the counterpunching.
Yeah.
And then the guy would peel off again and go take a couple more laps around the ring. This match was terrible. My favorite part was when Skull did the jump back, suck your gut in to mix the body shot, and jumped into the air and got hit on the belt line and complained to the referee.
Yeah, that was
like he had got hit low. It's like, bro, you literally put your balls up in the air and then complain about a low blow. Like, keep your fucking feet on the ground. But why, really? You want to discuss why Canelo won? It's obvious. It's because he's Canelo. And because, another part of that, he was not the one moving away from.
Is that you get points for not moving away? That's not a thing. His aggression wasn't effective. He this is what I hate about this fight and the Haney Ramirez fight is okay, the other guy's running, go catch him. It's you're confined in a space, right? He can't actually run away from you, and he was landing shots. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not mad at all that Canelo won. Let's just move on. Let's pretend this never happened. Let's set up the next fight. I don't necessarily want to reward that kind of boxing. But if I'm Skull and it's man, if you had thrown 10 more punches, then you should have won. I don't get actually sitting and watching that fight and being oh, definitive round for Canelo. Definitive round for Canelo.
One of the judges had it one round apart.
One had it a draw.
Yeah.
One had it a round apart, and then one had it some crazy wide shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's definitely, you got to talk about Canelo's performance, but Skull, he did all the moving, but he didn't do any sticking. If he would have just done a little bit more
sticking. More sticking than Canelo.
By 3 or 4 punches?
3 or 4 punches. Hey, there you go.
Well, but the referees or the judges ringside don't see those stats and stuff.
No,
and they see that the way he was punching with no heart, with no conviction, he landed 2 or 3 nice counter punches in there when Canelo overreached to the body and left himself open for uppercuts and little chopping right hands on the inside. Other than those 3-4 landed punches throughout the whole fight, he threw nothing like he really wanted it to land.
No, he had some good uppercuts in there. There were some moments popping Canelo's head up. He had moments. I mean, I agree the more impactful shots obviously came from Canelo. If one person was going to get dropped, which was my bet, Skull to get dropped and Canelo to win by decision, which was looking pretty good there at certain points, where you kind of get him in the corner. But like you said, he wouldn't really unload. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, no, he was certainly, looked to me, frustrated and reserved to just be like, whatever, this is just a formality. The only reason, like I said, Skull won the lottery. When he picked up that belt, when it was vacant because it was stripped, he won that fight, and it gave him this fight. He already won financially. This is the top of the mountain for him. So why go in there and get hurt?
Oh, because it's not the top of the mountain, man. Because if you beat Canelo, you get to fight Canelo again.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's the problem with the system and with the belt system and the pay scale and all this. That is the top of the mountain for him, and he knew that. He knows he doesn't. I don't think he had a game plan or the skills to really take Canelo into the place where he was going to definitively beat him the way Triple G did in his first fight, in my opinion, or Bivol did in his fight, because those guys punch with conviction. They punch with heart. They punch with power and fury, and the will and desire to win through violence, through fighting. Now, I understand in the sport of boxing, you can win without actually being a violent puncher.
Yeah.
Right? But you just got to do just a little bit more. And the sport, and I don't know if I agree with this, I think I do though, because it's the way it is, and as a coach, I have to get my fighters win, is if you go backwards in a quiet fight, you're going to lose it.
Yeah, I think you're right, and that's why I say I'm not mad at the decision.
Like Haney, he punched just enough to win off the back foot.
Yeah.
If he would have punched a little bit less, it would have been a draw.
Well, also, his opponent literally didn't land any punches. Like, at least Canelo landed some punches.
Sure.
Albeit throwing. I mean, it's the lowest offensive output in any 12-round fight. That's crazy from Canelo. That's nuts.
It's
I don't
terrible.
give
It
a
was
shit
terrible.
that the guy's running. That's my point. Is like, go get him.
Yeah, it's terrible performance. Terrible performance by Canelo. Looked phoned in. I mean, even his body language, even from the get-go, didn't have that same.
No, it's trash.
The whole thing was trash and totally forgettable. Totally unwatchable. A whole nother event of unwatchable fights. Unrewatchable. Nothing notable. Terrible.
Well, the one notable thing at the end, they bring out some super awkward. My favorite part.
Oh my God! Bring me the Crawford.
First bring me the Crawford. Then he's like, bring me the belt. And do you see that? They bring out this belt, this Ring Magazine belt in a case, and the guy takes like 10 minutes to put gloves on.
It's fucking.
And then he pulls it out, and I'm like, first of all, bro, you can wash gold like with like a anything. It's not gonna ruin it with the oil from your hands. It's just gold. And then he immediately takes it out, and Turkey just grabs it with his bare hands and give it to him. Like, oh, okay. And then he gets Crawford and Canelo to face off, and he says, we're doing it in September. And all I can think, watching that immediately after that fight, is, so Canelo's just going to walk through this guy? If Skull just did that to him and effectively...
You mean Crawford's going to walk through him?
Crawford's going to walk through him, yeah.
I mean, I was sitting there saying, this has all been a big conspiracy setup show to make the line closer for the Crawford-Canelo fight. Because before, everybody's saying, oh, Canelo's Canelo, look how good, And now, but literally this performance followed by the face-off, you're like, everybody's got their money on Crawford now.
I don't see why you wouldn't. I mean,
because he can move and stick. He lost off the back foot, or he won off the back foot to Madrimov because he was punching hard enough and with enough power, enough force, and enough fuck you on his shots to win, even though he was being evasive.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you box off the back foot. You're evasive, but you're also aggressive. You're a dangerous counterpuncher off the back foot. And if he employs that game plan, he can totally win. His footwork is light years above Canelo's ability to switch stances and hit with both hands. Canelo, his footwork was embarrassingly bad in there, dude. It looked like a guy waddling off to take a piss in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I mean, his entire defense has moved from upper body movement with amazing judge of distance with his feet into just parrying shots and walking through him because he's so tough. Mm-hmm. And he's going to be that tough against Crawford. I don't picture Crawford landing a shot that like in any way affects Canelo, no matter what, even if he's pretty caught off guard. But the fast twitch is gone. So it's like, all right, so I've got this guy that's going to lumber forward and parry shots. No problem. I can take an angle, land a couple shots, get a good uppercut in there, a good body shot, take an angle, dip out of there, and just keep doing rinse and repeat for 12 rounds. This dude's way too slow. Maybe it gets exciting and he catches Crawford at some point and wobbles him with a body shot or something. That's like his best chance is to hope for a 10-8 round. But even with that, it's like I don't see him coming back because Crawford's just going to stack up like 9 rounds in a row of points.
Yeah, that version of Canelo loses big time.
Yeah.
Clearly, and Crawford, and there's another thing about this, and this came up just with Boots when he won recently. He said, see what I can do with a live body in front of me? It's like, bro, you're the champion. You should be able to box anyone. So don't complain, I hate this kind of fight. I hate to box a runner. It's like, no, it's on you to make the adjustments, man.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're caught in a ring together. It's not an open field. Had it been an open field, and they said, "Hey, Skull, if you survive for the next 36 minutes, do you win?" Skull would have just ran to as far away as possible and stayed away the whole time. And Canelo would have been like, "Man, I can't get." But no, you're not. You're in a boxing ring, 22 square foot thing. You're 22 by 22. Get in there and get it on. You know, Julio Cesar Chavez would have switched stances, rolled into the Dempsey roll, cut the ring off, come leaping with violence to say, "I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to pin you down." You know,
Yeah,
I have something to prove.
And even if you don't drop him, knock him out, anything, you would be throwing a bunch of punches, and you would look like you're taking the fight to him, as opposed to. I mean, I would have preferred he just like sit down in the corner.
One of my guys at the gym is a huge Canelo fan. I don't think I've seen him in anything but a Canelo shirt in like the last 2 years. He was just like arguing for Canelo, saying like, well, Triple G couldn't have cut that guy off. What fighter in the world could have cut that guy off?
Dude, Triple G for sure. That's a good example of somebody who
I said exactly. He could have he shifted. He could shift. He could roll. By shifting, I mean stepping into the opposite stance as you step through with your right hand to put yourself in a different position and make the ring smaller, more explosively. Switching up your footwork instead of just kind of tippy-toeing around.
Yeah. I mean, look at the last Bivol-Beterbiev fight. Like, Beterbiev, not the master of footwork, but pretty good hunter in there. And Beterbiev's among the best with his in and out pendulum footwork, taking the angles and moving around the ring and trying to stay on the outside. And Beterbiev's cutting him off and landing offense, and it's a nip-tuck fight. And those are the exciting fights where you got a guy who's clearly trying to be on the front foot and a guy that's clearly trying to be on the back foot, and they're battling it out. When you got one guy whose whole game plan is to be on the outside and one guy that just can't come forward, it's like, stalemate. Boring.
It's one guy couldn't, one guy wouldn't. One guy couldn't fight, and the other guy wouldn't fight.
Yeah.
And it just turns into nothing.
See, I give the points to the wouldn't fight guy, especially if they land more punches. Because I'm like, well, at least they had a game plan. They did something.
He thought he was winning too, man. They shoot him right out of the ring right away. I think that's part of why that post-fight thing was so awkward, because they had to rush to make something happen because they didn't want to post. What are you going to interview Canelo about? How do you feel about your performance? You know, there was no performance.
Yeah.
And then that was super awkward. And he's like, "Bring me the Crawford," and then. It's like he's like holding his hand like a kid waiting for the school bus.
Hey man, he can hold my hand for $100 million.
And that's how it looks to me. The Crawford's just like, I got to do what I got to do to cash that check, and I'm set for life.
Dude, if I'm Crawford, I'm like eating cheeseburgers, trying to bulk up.
He looks big in there.
He looks big, and I'm like, okay, so wait a minute. I'm going to actually beat this guy, and I'm going to be a 3-time unified champion and then retire and make $100 million off this fight? Holy shit. It's like almost like the dog that caught the car. Like, the dog's not supposed to know what to do with it. Like, I figured he just wanted this fight because he's like, I don't know, maybe I'll win, but really I'm just going to make a lot of money. But now it's like too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
I mean, there's a clear path to victory.
Yeah.
And you guys got the tools to do it.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about their last 2 fights, because you've got Crawford giving the blueprint to beat Canelo by fighting a dude who's, not Canelo, but he's Canelo-esque in the sense that he went up in weight. It's a bigger dude who can punch and like moves around, right? And he beat him. And I remember when we talked about that fight, I said, oh, that looks like the blueprint to beat Canelo. Like, he saw this guy's got too much power. I'm not going to stop him, but I'm going to win on. And then you got Canelo just getting totally destroyed by a dude who did that. It's they moved in 2 opposite directions of confidence for boxing those styles.
Yeah, well, it's certainly going to affect the betting odds and cause turmoil through all the boxing world by Canelo's lackluster performance there. He's just body language, he just did not have the desire, the burning fire of a Mexican fighter, that would do whatever it took to pin this guy down and make him pay, and it was just sad, man. The whole thing was sad. It just felt wrong. It felt like it was just nothing.
Yeah.
Whole lot of nothing.
It makes me worry. It's a sad worry, but it's like, boxing's had a bit of a renaissance maybe with the Saudi money coming in. And when you have, if I'm Turkey, my head hits the pillow at 10 a.m. that day when that fight ended. And I'm like, oh shit, I just spent a lot of money on those 2 cards. And they're both like embarrassment. Like, people are making fun of how bad these were.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
we set the worst possible kind of records,
Yeah.
And then Garcia, cash cow kid got knocked down and lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, what am I... Maybe I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't know. Because, like, what do you got to do to have a good card, man? Sad. All right, but we roll into Sunday, and a top rank to the rescue. Absolutely comes in. Phenomenal doubleheader fights. Rafael Espinoza gets the stoppage against Edward Vasquez. Dude had never been stopped. He was a tank. I took the over in this fight. I thought Espinoza was going to get to him, but not that early. Whoo! He's a puncher, man. He's a hitter. He doesn't give a shit about defense. He doesn't need it. He doesn't want it. Amazing fighter.
Yeah.
Super exciting to watch.
Yeah, he made that look easy. He was cruising. He didn't look like he was trying super hard. Kept his hands busy, and then would put a little sting on some punches every now and then, some body punches, looking like they were hurting pretty bad. And then finally, for the first time all weekend, I felt like I was watching a boxing event.
Yeah.
And you could hear in the background this steady crackling roar of the crowd, just this of 9,000 people just talking and chattering and cheering and ordering beers and whatever. It's just this roar that we come to expect behind the sound of the fight. And I'm like, oh, this is what boxing is supposed to feel like.
Oh, there's people there.
There's people that care, and the fighters are invested, and they're fighting like it matters.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not the afterthought. That's part of the problem with the Saudi thing. Is like I said, with the guy winning the Canelo lottery, you already won the lottery. What are you gonna go try to play again? Like like what if we started paying? Just total bullshit. What if we started paying fighters after? It's like, you know what I'm saying? These places want a tip before you get your product. You ever do that? I got fucking. You go to the drive-through and they try to get you to tip before you even see
I'll
see
go
the
drive
food.
through this, bro. I eat clean.
Oh yeah. Well,
So I don't know. I don't resonate with the story that you're telling right now.
Well, okay.
How about the fucking restaurants where you have to like scan a QR code still? I leave. I leave.
We talk about that. You like your paper.
I like people. Actually, I hate people, but
you want to pay for a person.
I want someone come and take my fucking order. But those you have to tip first because you like do the whole process.
Yeah, you do it before.
And I'm like, yo, I haven't even met somebody yet. Is there even someone that works? Who am I tipping for what?
Yeah, that's happened. So I did go through a motherfucking drive-through
I know
a
you
few
did.
months ago.
I'm looking at you
and
right
I was
now.
getting
I
a
can tell you went
motherfucking
through
fish
a
sandwich from Burgerville.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and with me and my kid, and they make you tip before, and they're looking at you, and I'm like, okay, well, don't fuck this up. I see you looking at me.
What do you tip for at a drive-through?
Just like a regular restaurant. They're treating
But
it
it's
like
literally not a regular restaurant.
I know, right? But they're
driving-
looking at you. They're like, select one of the buttons at the top of the screen to continue. And you're like, motherfucker. Okay, so you press it's like 15, 20, 25. You're like, is this like, does this determine the quality of fucking effort you put in your food?
Cancel? Isn't there a none?
Yeah, you can do a none thing, and then they just start spitting all over your food, probably.
That's fine.
So I gave them a couple bucks, right? And then we had to wait like fucking 20 minutes. They're like, they came out and they're like, pull over there in that parking spot. And we just sat out there, and I'm like late to work at this point. I'm like, you motherfuckers, I'm never coming here again. And you know what? I haven't been back. But the same thing at like a coffee shop and shit. You tip in advance. I said, give me the product, and then I'll pay you what I think it was worth.
Right.
And so in boxing, it's opposite. The fans pay in advance. The fighters get paid in advance. Everything's set and done. And then the performance, well, it does.
Well, doesn't UFC pay more for a knockout?
They do. They pay every single fight they have is, they call it like 30-30. 30 to show and 30 to win. So if you and I sign up to fight, we're both on the 30-30 plan. We're both getting 30. Only one of us gets the second 30.
Where's the 10 going?
You know what I'm saying? What?
30, 30, 30. It's 90.
No. It's 30. There's only one extra 30. Only the winner gets it.
So it's 35 to show up, and then there's 30%.
No, like $30,000. I just made up a number.
Oh, 30,000. I thought you meant 30%.
No. Sorry,
Yeah,
that's
like,
just a number.
It's
I
not
put
adding
away.
up for me. Okay.
Yeah, 30,000. So
right. Yeah, so you get paid more if you win.
So only one of us gets that prize.
Yeah.
You get the extra fight, and it's a true prize fighter's reward. Like,
Right.
you want it, you got to fucking fight for it.
Yeah, I'm
If
all
it's
for
the
it.
fifth round, your coach says it's a close one, man. Get this motherfucker out of there. You say, oh, I'm motivated now because I got a little money on the line.
All right, Turkey. Get it done, brother.
It's
Let's
definitely we'll see, because now this Crawford Canelo fight is under the TKO banner.
Yeah.
So Dana White is like an official promoter of this event. So this is like the end. I feel like this is the end of an era for boxing and the birth of a new one.
I don't know. Dana White's going to have... I mean, he's very impressive what he's done with UFC for sure, but he also created something out of thin air. There was not a product that existed for what he did. And so he just said, look, I'm going to take guys with no competition, really, effectively, in like the public paradigm, and create this thing. and I'm going to model it off of boxing. Like that's my validation that people want to pay pay-per-views to watch fights, right? Like the model's already there. But he wasn't competing with other offers and other promotional companies that were serious, right? And in this world, it's like it's already established. And not just established, it's like entrenched and built. And it's on the decline, so that's why there's opportunity to come in. But it's just going to be tough because you got to build boxers to compete with the boxers that are already popular that people want to see fight. And the boxers who are already popular that want to see fight don't want to fight for pennies. So it's just, I mean... If he's thinking 20-year timeline, he could do it.
But this Canelo Crawford fight is already
But it's not
set.
It's not an example of what they're trying to do because they're going to absolutely pay out the note. What they want to do is remove the Ali Act. They're already talking about getting rid of the Ali Act, right? Which is prevents the matchmaker from being your manager promoter, right? It's the integration. And the whole reason is because then there's a perverse incentive. The manager is supposed to maximize your earnings, and the promoter is supposed to pay the fighters the cheapest amount possible and pocket all the money. So it's like, okay, we're getting rid of this because people are getting taken advantage of. So they want to remove that so that legally they can do just what they did in UFC, which is own everything, which as a boxing fan, yeah, maybe it is the best product. I don't know. Sports are super weird, right? You've got a lot of athletes getting paid more than the product actually creates, which is like, well, that's just inherently not sustainable. Then it's a charity. And right now, what Turkey's doing is charity.
Absolutely.
So, because he's losing money on every single one of these fights. And with this Crawford-Canelo fight, they're probably going to lose money. And maybe that one will sell 1 million pay-per-views because it's just such a crazy fight. But what Dana's trying to do is come in and be like, yo, let's pay the fighters like 50 grand, 100 grand.
Yeah,
that's what they should get.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's the end of an era. Like, as we're seeing the system that exists, and even with Turkey's influence and money, is not great. And with this Canelo Crawford thing being like this huge highlight moment and a huge payout moment, but that's like the reset button. Like somebody's unplugging the video game and it's going to come back and your save point is gone. And it's going to be like, hey, you're not worth fucking $100 million, Devin Haney. Yep. Nobody wants to pay that for that fucking shitty ass cheeseburger they had to wait 20 minutes for. I was fucking not worth it. That was not a pay-per-view. That was not competition. That was terrible. There should be no reward for that kind of performance.
I mean, what they need to do, just like in all businesses, go to a shared risk thing where you just say, all right, man, listen, like, I'll give you 20% of all the revenue this produces to fight. And the other guy's going to get 25 because he's the A side or whatever. And I'm going to put this much money in, which is my risk, which is why I get the remaining percentage, right? And I'll do XYZ to promote it. I'll pay this. I'll pay that. I'll organize the venue. I'll do the poster, blah, 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 all this stuff. And then we'll just see whatever it makes. And you'll get paid the percentage fair and square.
Mm-hmm.
That's a business where you're partners. And then people are incentivized to sell the fight and get a knockout so that the next one sells more. But as long as you got somebody offering you just a flat check to show up and do that, and you don't give a shit how many pay-per-views it does or how the gate is or anything, and that's a problem.
Yeah, it's a big problem, man. And I mean, the system is just flawed. It's like, especially the American style of boxers. Do you see any of these young kids hanging tough with these tough Russian, Ukrainian, Eastern European guys coming out?
No.
The guys that are over there working at their local shows, probably fighting in front of 200, 300 people in a gritty arena, fighting for fucking, the next level, scrapping it out, blood for blood. And they're probably the same age as a guy like Haney, maybe the same amount of fights, but they never fought on the world stage. We're going to see some serious upsets if they start matchmaking these guys a little tougher.
Yeah.
Like it's not even an upset, just reality check. And it's a fucking reality check.
And
man.
that's Dana's plan. If I'm him, right? It's like, all right, go get these guys in these gyms that are going to give us great fights and sell their story and get it out there. And,
I think for like where I'm at, I'm just a working class dude in a boxing gym with fighters that don't make tons of money.
You're in the drive-thru with the common man?
I'm at the Burgerville with the common man, Not lately, though, about that gluten-free diet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what did you just took the bun off and ate the chicken?
No, this was before I started the gluten-free diet.
Okay, all right.
All right.
I think we just caught you slipping. Then we get into the main event of this card. Noe Inoue back in the United States facing Raymond Cardenas, who was, driving an Uber last year.
Hey, this always comes up. Oh, this guy has a regular job.
That's great. I love that.
Like 99% of professional boxers have regular jobs.
Not
Whether it's driving a
professional
lift,
boxers who
working at the Burgerville.
Okay,
you know,
okay, but not boxers who are in there with Inoue. Not 99% of the ones who are.
I
fighting.
bet you Sam Goodman or whatever has a fucking job back home. That dude does not live solely
You think
off
so?
his boxing income. I 100% guarantee you, dude. I'll bet you a motherfucking dollar bill like I do. Okay.
If we go through Inoue's last opponents, do you think the majority of them?
Louis Neary is not an only full-time boxer. Those guys aren't making enough money consistently enough to live, you know.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to hit these guys up.
I bet you they're...
I don't think Doheny has a job.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't think Tapales has a job.
You think Doheny doesn't have a job?
No.
You kidding me?
I don't think he has a job. He's got so many.
He's like 38 years old.
He don't have a job. Stephen Fulton. You think Stephen Fulton's got a day job?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Does
If
the internet's not going to tell me this, right?
He's not just sitting around and boxing. And now Stephen Fulton's not working as a Lutz driver, that's for sure. Or what do you call it? Uber, Lyft.
Google says no. Stephen Fulton is a professional boxer. His day job is fighting in boxing matches.
Well, I bet you he's invested into some like fucking businesses that make him money outside of boxing.
That's probably true.
I'm sure he should. If he hasn't, he should. But okay, not all of them, but most of them.
I mean, there's definitely. I mean, your point is well made. A lot of boxers have, you know, it's not as glamorous as it seems, right? But I think it's it's a nice piece of story about this dude, where he came from, how hard he's worked to get there, how big an opportunity this is, and how not just humble, but kind of like, I mean, salt of the earth, whatever, like how much you can relate to this guy being like, damn, this is a huge opportunity. And then when he goes in there and drops Inoue with a beautiful punch, has a great game plan, looks phenomenal against him.
Crazy good explosive puncher.
Yeah.
Great punches. I was like, wow, this guy's dangerous right out of the gate. And he stayed dangerous there until about the 6th round.
From what I saw, he had the perfect game plan, which was high guard, counter immediately. I mean, the second he felt anything, he threw. Didn't matter. And it worked super well until Inoue started stepping back and then coming with 4, 5, 6 punch combinations. And then it was too much to counter because he would try to rip that shot off the counter, but he'd get hit again because Inoue was already throwing. And like he said after the fight, he said, man, it wasn't one shot. He doesn't even hit necessarily that hard, but it was the consistency of how hard he was hitting over and over and over and over.
Well, his game plan certainly wasn't a 12-round game plan because you see the condition of his forehead.
Yeah.
That was from his own gloves getting like smashed into his head from protecting on the high guard. There's no way to fight for 12 rounds.
Yeah.
You know, he was banking on like some kind of early upset KO victory, and he got the knockdown, but the guy got up, man, and that's why he's the monster because he get back up. He's never down. He's never out. And for a second there, I thought, holy shit, is this it?
Yeah.
And man, I finally felt like I was watching a competitive boxing match. We're screaming and shouting at the TV, grabbing onto the couch. I was like, yes, this is boxing.
This is boxing.
This is Top Rank.
Man, I feel like Top Rank should just like pay us for this episode, but it's true.
It's true.
They won the weekend. Top Rank won the weekend.
I saw a lot of people making comments about that online saying Top Rank saved the day. What a great card. Because I watched the whole card. There was a lot of good action, a lot of knockouts, body punch KOs here and there, technical boxing, violent boxing, just good old-fashioned boxing.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful sight. And in a way, it looks, it's not the first time he's been dropped, but that's kind of part of his charm. A lot of world champions have touched the canvas before and gotten back up. Loma got knocked down against Linares and got up to win that fight. In the long-term thing, run, it's fine. It's okay. And this is this is the reward of taking a risk. You take more risks, you throw more punches. Yeah, he's not fundamentally perfectly sound, as Timothy Bradley likes to point out constantly. You can see the more you punch, the more you're going to get punched. And the harder and more explosive you are, the more it tends to open you up as you kind of, react to that explosive force. But, it's a risk and reward. You take the risk. What's the reward? He's a generational talent. The world loves him.
You know what the biggest risk I think to Inoue is? Moving up in weight. 4 pounds. That's the biggest risk. Because...
Well, there's gigantic, towering freaking dudes up there like Rafael Espinoza.
I mean, a crazy fight is Nick Ball Inoue. I can't even, picture that fight. And if I had to pick somebody right now, I would say Inoue gets the job done.
Yeah.
And actually, it's a late round TKO because he's just such a better boxer than Nick Ball. But Nick Ball looks significantly sturdier than Inoue, significantly bigger. And if he can take the power of Inoue, Inoue's gonna have a tougher time because he does open himself up to a lot of shots, and he doesn't show expert gamesmanship to avoid that trouble. He shows like, oh, I just need to put it into another gear of offense and just and get this done.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's so exciting to watch. But if he ends up in a situation where that's not sufficient, it's gonna be tough for him. Like, I mean, him versus Espinoza, that's a wild fight.
Yeah, I would stay away from that one. It's hard enough to go up in weight, but go that high up in height, that's just too much.
Any of these fights would be crazy. Espinoza, Leo, Espinoza, Ball, Fulton, Espinoza, and then throw Inoue into any of those.
Yeah, I think he sticks around at 122. He's got the Akhmadaliev fight coming up. There's a potential fight with Nakatani. Those are the fights we need to see. And he said he's going to retire at 35. He's like 32 now. A couple more years is all we get. So I don't want to see him rush up there and do anything crazy. If there's a right opponent for like a mega fight at that, then maybe in 2 years that could be a thing. But right now, I think he beats Ball pretty easily. I think Espinoza's too tall, and he could really struggle with that one. But he might just smash him in the body and get him out of there. You never know. But you're right. But the power might not carry up to 126.
Yeah, I think the hardest fight for him would be Espinoza. And I think the second hardest fight might be Fulton. Fulton's maybe the only guy at featherweight I think could beat Espinoza. I think he could just really outbox him and frustrate him, and it'd be tough. I don't know if it'd be a great fight, but I just like Espinoza Leo, Espinoza Ball. Okay.
How about this? Fulton fights everybody at 126 and unifies and becomes undisputed.
And then
down there, in a way, he cleans up and has a couple more fights, Akhmadaliev and Nakatani. Then they rematch at 126, and Fulton gets it done.
Ooh.
Triggering the rubber match for the third and final fight of Inoue's career. So
they fight 3 times?
Well, they've already fought once.
Right.
And then if they rematch at 126, and then if Fulton can pull it off,
right,
because of the weight advantage and the familiarity with that weight class.
Right.
And then the third fight, that would be Inoue's like retirement party.
Yeah.
And Fulton's final big paycheck.
And Inoue takes it.
And that one is like, that's a 50-50 right there. That's the one that we're all on. That's Coach Josh's future timeline prediction.
All right, Turkey, hit us. We just solved all your problems, man.
I think this is literally what Turkey does. And then he says, make it so.
Make it so. But he picks the wrong things. All right, give me right now, before we get out of here, your Turkey. We got Turkey money right now. It's on the table.
All right, Turkey time.
Give me the fights we're making. Give me a card right now.
Oh wow, this super card?
Yeah, we got time.
Okay, let's. What weight class?
You tell me, brother.
Okay, let's do Canelo versus Benavidez.
Wow, you went right to Canelo. Why did you do that? You're a sucker.
Let's do it, because that I'm talking about fights that need to happen right now just to settle.
Okay, I mean Canelo Benavidez is a great fight.
Canelo Benavidez at catchweight, 170.
Okay.
2.
What's 72? 0.2.
2.
Okay.
All right. I gave you one. You give me one.
Oh, I got to add to this card right now?
We got to build the card.
Fuck, I wanted you to do this. I didn't want to have to do it. I wasn't really ready.
I wasn't ready either. You thought the question. You think you'd have an answer.
Honestly, this is like, I didn't like this fight at first, and now I'm really looking forward to seeing it. So I'll just add this fight to it. Berlanga Shiraz. That's a crazy fight. I mean, I thought Shiraz lost to Adames, but I also believe him that he hurt his hand, and maybe that's why I wasn't really going for it. And Berlanga Shiraz is just an insanely weird fight. Like, who decided to make that?
Shiraz just moved up, right?
I know, yeah. And now he's
and
like,
Berlanga
I'll go up to 168 to fight a guy who's 215 pounds of fight night. And it's like, unless he's just I'm going to stick and move and box this guy, which just isn't his style. He's a puncher. So that's a crazy fight.
I think that's a bad look, honestly, for our guy Plant, because he's fighting this dude that's not exciting for anybody. It's a stay busy fight.
Yeah.
And his rival is going to fight a name who's been considered dangerous, you know, and so, that definitely, I thought Berlanga was the one who was gone on the slide.
But you know what? I'm going to take that one off the table because I just stole another person's fight. I'm going to say Janibek Adames.
That's a great fight. That's a fight that needs to happen.
That's a crazy fight.
That's a good fight, and that's the 160 pounders that nobody ever talks about anymore.
And it's not going to be boring.
No.
That's an action fight. There's
That's a
no
great fight.
possible way that's boring. All right, you got one, and then I got one more.
All right, we'll do fights that need to happen. Fights that definitely, with active boxers right now in the state of boxing, we could say we need to see. Oh man, I'd like to see you versus me in the ring.
That's
Tell
just
Turkey.
like it's like over so quickly. It's like we could fight in between fights.
They say the fights are won and lost in the gym, and I think I've been in the gym a little bit more than you lately.
Yeah, they say
Champ.
that. They say that, but can't overcome talent.
Oh,
So there's
right.
that.
Yeah,
I don't. You don't know me, bro. I see red.
Yeah,
I see red once I get in there.
Yeah, they see. All right. No, man. The boxing world's a mess right now. I did not come in here with an optimistic attitude.
Yes, because it was a shit weekend. All right, I'll just give you my fight. Bakram, Virgil Ortiz. That's a great fight.
When is that going to happen?
I don't know, but that's a great fight. I'm making our dream card right now. I thought.
All right,
that's a
dream it
great
up.
fight. That's a great. I'm putting punchers in the ring, man.
Yeah, you want to see action,
This
right?
is what I mean. Turkey, call me, and these are fights that just are not going to be boring. And all my fights are in the same. I don't need anybody to jump up like 6 weight classes to fight each other. They're sitting right there. Just pick them.
Make it happen.
And none of them are named Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia.
Those guys, they ruined it all. They ruined their whole stock.
And I don't even want to see Shakur fight Tank anymore.
I know. Your guy Shakur with the safety first style was always your thing, but now you're talking about action. You want to see a fight.
I mean, I still like seeing somebody just dismantle somebody else. I think Shakur Zepeda is going to be a great fight still. I mean, none of the real luster has come off that fight. Shakur Lomachenko, that's a great
Loma's
fight.
retired, man.
He's still holding a belt.
Yeah.
And we're not going to see Shakur fight Keyshawn. So what? He's got to go up. Gary Antoine Russell versus Shakur.
That's a good fight.
That's a good fight.
That's a good fight. All right, put it on the list.
Yeah.
Tell Turkey it's time.
Because Shakur doesn't run. This is what I hate about when people call him a runner, and I'm like, but he literally doesn't run. Like, he stands right there. He's a flat-footed fighter. Like, Haney was running in a circle around the outside of the ring.
Yeah, like
Literally.
William Skull.
Yes, yeah, like William Skull. Have you ever seen Shakur do? No, never. Maybe
He's
for a
a
second to get out of the corner, but
Yeah, he creeps back. He creeps back.
yeah,
Creeps
he's
back,
standing
turn.
right in front of you and you can't hit him. That's why I like his style. He's impressive to watch. And it's like, I'm not a very good boxer. I've been in the ring with you and I've been like, fuck, why can't I hit him? And that's what keeps your gears turning later of like, I got to get better to figure out how to do that. And someone that can do that at such a good level, there's no one in the world good enough to hit him. That's fucking impressive. He's the biggest point differential in all boxing. I think he's plus 21. He lands like 21 punches for every one punch someone lands on him. That's insane. That's why he's excited.
Well, and yeah, you got to throw punches to have plus numbers, right?
Right. It's not like he's not throwing punches. Oh, De Los Santos, great. Well, now that record's shattered.
Yeah, I know, right? All right. Well, hey, we got to get to the gym, man.
You got to get to the gym.
I do. I got to get to the
I got
gym.
to eat chocolate chips in the kitchen.
I got 13
Send
minutes
work
till
emails.
gym time. Let's go.
Let's get out of here. Until next time.
Man.
Hopefully it's better fights to
I
break
know.
down.
Hopefully we have better news. Appreciate you guys listening, following, liking, and supporting. Listen to the podcast. Read the articles on the Substack. Keep your ears to the pod. Keep your eyes up, your chin down, elbows tucked in. Keep that jab working.
Until next time, I'm Dust.
I'm Coach.
And that's boxing.